Saturday, friends. Welcome to my live. And if you happen to be watching later, welcome to my replay. My name is Robin, and I'm with Robin's Egg Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Couture. So we will be doing a hopefully a quick project this morning with this it's called Christmas Time Collection, December 25th. We're going to be making some cute little beaded mini farmhouse signs that would be perfect for your tiered trays, or it actually might make a really cute little Christmas ornament. So let me know in the comments when you hop on. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you have planned for this Saturday. Jason says hello from the other side of the door. If you hear any hooting and hollering, my husband and adult son are in the other room. So they're having a lot of fun this morning, hanging out, watching some old NASCAR. So don't mind them. I want to let you know that I am streaming using an online platform called StreamYard. It allows me to go live in 3 places this morning. So I'm live on my business page, Robin's Egg Blue Creations. I'm also live in my private crafty collab group, and I'm also live on my YouTube channel. So if you hear me refer to a comment that you may not see in your feed, that might be why. They might be watching from another platform. I just didn't want you to be confused. Also, if you're watching from my group, the Robin's Egg Blue Creations Crafty Collab, if you wouldn't mind allowing StreamYard access to your profile name, you just need to click the link, giving them access. The link is up in the description of the video. That way you show up as your name in my comments and not Facebook user. I'd like to know who I'm talking to. I'd like to say hi to you personally. So if it just says Facebook user, I don't know who's here. So I think that's all the beginning housekeeping things. Also, if you wouldn't mind spreading the Choc love all over Facebook, hit all the buttons that you need to push, the heart button, the like button, the subscribe button. Also, if you wouldn't mind at the end of the video going over to YouTube and subscribing to my YouTube channel. That way, if I'm not able to ever go live on Facebook, because it's getting kind of wonky these days, this way you can go watch me live on YouTube as well and get those notifications. Like I said earlier, we're going to be using some Couture products this morning. I have all of the links to my Choc site, to the Club Couture sign up options. All the yummy links are up in the description of the video. Hello, Chris. How are you this morning? So this is a size A reusable silkscreen transfer. It is a sticky back transfer, so it has adhesive on the back of the transfer. I have already written the name of the transfer on the back. That way, when I go to clean this transfer, I know that this transfer goes to this backer sheet, and that this is the back of the backer sheet, and the transfer gets stuck down to this side. These are reusable about 8 to 12 times, depending on how well you take care of them, and they are great. They just make crafting so easy. If you're short on time, if you don't think you're very crafty, or if looking at a blank surface like this scares you, this takes all of the fuss and the thought out of projects. So you just put this transfer down on a surface, chalk it a little bit, and you have an easy peasy craft project finished. So I have these little, I believe they're about 4.5 by 4.5, just little wood squares. I painted them previously. I've also sanded the edges. And because this transfer is sticky back, and because this is painted and it's wood, I'm going to use some surface wax, and I'm going to lay down some wax. The wax creates kind of a barrier so that my transfer doesn't stick so hard that it pulls or stretches when I'm pulling it back up. The wax also can get in where I may not have sanded very well, and can kind of fill in some of the uneven ridges of the wood surface. So I'm just laying it down I just use an old t-shirt. You can use a paper towel. You can use a regular towel. I just like to use old t-shirts because they don't usually don't have a lot of lint on them. So when I get an old t-shirt that has a hole or a stain, then I just tear it up and use it for wax rags, paint rags, stain rags, things like that. So I'm just laying down some wax. I'm just kind of buffing it in. Okay, that should be good. And if you don't have the Couture wax, but you may have the Min wax, you can use that as well. You can use the natural color. You can also use a dark wax on like a lighter surface to give it a little bit of distress and age. Okay, so I don't think it really matters which way they go. So I'm going to bring in my surface. I'm also going to, or my transfer, I'm also going to bring in my fuzz towel. I have used this transfer once before, but I'm still going to fuzz because I'm using it on wood. I don't want my transfer to pull up any wood splinters. So I'm just going to lay a layer of lint on the transfer itself. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it, trying to center it between the top and the bottom and the side to side edges. So I'm just kind of folding it down, making sure that it's even with the edges. And so then now I'm just going to burnish where the clear areas are. That is where the silk screen is. I'm just going to make sure that has a good adhesion so that my paste does not seep underneath. So I think I'm going to use all white on the text, and then we'll use, I think I have pesto in the heart link, so maybe we'll get that out instead. We'll use pesto and candy apple, and my apologies, candy apple is sold out, but it should be back in stock soon. Okay, so I'm just going to open my paste. This is just chalk in liquid form. I'm going to use a different squeegee. And this is just a squeegee. It actually comes in this size, but I've cut some of them in half so that I can get a skinnier squeegee. So I'm just going to dip my squeegee in my chalk paste. This chalk paste, again, is liquid chalk. It's chalk in liquid form. It dries hard. It is water soluble on most surfaces. So on chalkboards, glass, and metal, you can actually spray your design with water, and then you can wipe it off and then redesign on that surface as well. So that was the concept with the beginning concept with Couture, was that you would invest in one high-end chalkboard, and then you could redesign on it with different holiday, seasonal, and everyday decor transfers. But we've since added other surfaces to the arsenal. They are not as expensive as they originally were. I'm just kind of going over it again to make sure I've got a good coverage. And I'm actually just going to bring in my other surface. So there you go. That's what you're left with. Perfect image. Almost every time. So I'm just going to lay this back down without cleaning it. And then I'm just going to rub where that silk screen is to make sure it is adhered well. And And I'm going to go back in with my squeegee, grab some chalk paste, and I'm just going to create a duplicate project in less than 2 minutes. I'm going to flip it around. And now I'm just going to even out my squeegee lines. And I'm pulling off any excess, and I can put it right back into my jar. Clean off my sides a little bit. Put that away. And there you go. 2 duplicate projects in less than 5 minutes total. Yeah, Jason, there is something about a good old black and white graphic. Okay, so I'm going to show you how easy peasy it is to clean up. So I just have a tub of water. You can also just go directly to a sink and run it under the faucet, or if you have a sprayer, that works as well. But because I'm not near a water source right now, I just use a tub when I'm in my craft area. So I have it face down, so there's all the gunk. And I'm just going to scrub it lightly on the bottom just to kind of help get some of that paste off. And you don't have to do this. It's just kind of how I learned how to do it. I'm going to put my tub of water away. And then I'm going to take my board eraser, which also cleans transfers very well. I'm getting it wet, and then I'm just taking it and I'm going to rub it down my transfer, and it's going to take all of that chalk paste off. Now there may be some staining with certain colors like reds and greens will stain transfers just because they have a higher pigment. They have a higher concentration of pigment. So now that I have the front done, I'm going to use a disinfecting wipe. And I'm going to use it on the back, and it gets off any lint, any debris, and any chalk paste that may have gotten on the back. Okay, that away. So now I'm going to bring in my backer sheet. And because I'm notorious for leaving my transfers drying overnight or over the week, I'm just trying to get into the habit of putting it right back on my backer sheet. And if I were done with this transfer, I could go ahead and store it away. But I'm not done with it yet. So I'm going to add a little bit of embellishing. We have some holly leaves and some holly berries. And then I also have some watercolor paper. And yes, you can chalk on paper. Watercolor paper is great. It works well. But I am going to wax it first. And these are just some old banner shapes that I had cut for another project, but we'll go ahead and use them for this project. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of wax. And I'm just going to wax the surface of this watercolor paper. It helps to keep my transfer from sticking, and watercolor paper does have a slight texture. Okay. Buff that in a little bit more. Okay. So now bring in, I'm going to grab a couple of these holly leaves. I'm going to give them a fuzz or two just to lay down some lint. So again, so it doesn't stick so hard that it either tears my paper or makes it so that my transfer is too hard to get up. We'll lay that one down. I think we'll just... So I'm just going to do a couple of passes with this transfer. So now I have this multi-tool. It is a flat skinny squeegee on one end and a stir stick on the other. And this is pesto. I'm just going to grab a tiny bit on the end of my squeegee. So I'm going to pull that one up. And I'm going to go to this other end just so that I can give this leaf a chance to dry without disturbing it. And I'm just going to lay it down gently. And I'm just going to rub it with my finger a little bit to make sure it's down. I'm going to grab a little bit more pesto paste. Say that 3 times fast. You pull that one up. And then go back here. We'll do one in the middle. And I'm going to cut these out. I'm just giving myself some room and some grace so that I don't disturb those. Sorry for I got a runny nose this morning. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this over here. I'm not going to wash it yet. Oops, I still need that. Okay, so now I'm going to grab the smaller of the leaves off of my backer sheet. I'm going to fuzz it a couple of times. Oops. So we'll grab a little bit more paste. I guess, let's see. I know I'm wasting probably a little bit of paper, but I have plenty. Do one more. One down here. Grab a tiny bit more. Put the lid on that one. There we go. I'll wipe my multi-tool off. And cut down on some of the cleaning that I have to do later. Okay, so I'm going to dry these real quick to make sure that they're good and dry. Someone was saying, someone's reminding you, don't forget to say hello in the comments as you hop on. Okay, so now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to make some holly berries, not to be confused with Halle Berry. So this is just candy apple. I'm going to pull that one up gently. And then I'm going to go over here. Oops. So on these smaller transfers, you can get 2 or 3 passes before you have to clean your transfer, which is kind of nice. You could probably get more, but I always stop at 3 usually. Okay. Let those dry a little bit. Wash my fingers. Wash my multi-tool. Okie doke. Let's put those to the side. I'm going to wash my transfers real quick, just because, mainly because red and green is super pigmented. I don't want the chalk paste to dry on them, so I'm just going to stick them in the water and give them a little bit of a scrub, a little bit of a head start. Grab my towel. I'm going to grab my board eraser. Give them a little scrub. Flip them over. And then I'm going to use this disinfectant wipe to clean off the back. Oops. Okay, so now let's put it back on our backer sheet. Oops, this was over here. So I'm just sticking them back on so I don't forget to put them back on later. Okay, and that is ready to put away. Okay, now we'll bring our projects back. And I'm going to add a little beaded string to this. So I have a little pokey tool or an awl. And somewhere, right here, I have some cup hooks. And I have my beads, and I have my small twine. So I'm just going to figure out, using my cutting mat as kind of a guide, where I want my cup hooks. And I'm just poking a hole in the top. This is probably about the only time I measure, because I get my holes in cup hooks in the wrong spot. It might hang kind of wonky. Oh, there it is. I can't find my hole. Okay. And if you prefer, you can spray these with spray sealer, so they are protected. I don't always do that. If something's going to go outside or be in the weather or be in moisture, like in a bathroom, I would probably spray seal it. But it's pretty durable. Okay, so now I have my little cup hooks. And I'm just going to put those in the hole. Maybe let's make my hole bigger. Easier said than done. Let me get I can get more leverage. There we go. And then I can take this and kind of use it as a handle. I could also use this smaller one. And if you want, you could put a little dab of super glue on the screw threads. I would end up super gluing myself to the sign if I did that though, but there. Oops. Gosh. I usually don't have a whole lot of trouble with these. So I'm kind of applying pressure with my sign and twisting my sign as I twist my, that's not working today. This may not work either. I don't know if that'll give me any more leverage. Nope. We'll get it. I just do not want to start twisting. Gosh. Pesky thing. Let's try a different one. Okay. Now let's try it. Just not want to start turning. There we go. Gotcha. Okay. I think we'll just do one for right now. So, get out my beads. Get out the tray so that these don't end up all over the floor. And these are a 1/2 inch bead. And I think I used about 12 of them, if I remember correctly, from the last time I made one of these. Let's put this couple back with it. This is what the package looks like. If you need to screenshot it or anything. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 strands. Yep. I think that's how I remember how I did it. And then I'm going to snag some. Okay, so then I'm going to put another strand on this side. And they don't have to be even right now because you'll even them out. I'm going to take a little piece of washi tape, or if you have the Couture placement tape, you can also use that. But I have 1,000 rolls of washi tape that I will never use. So I'm just going to place it at the end of my jute twine and kind of give it a twist. And then I'm just making myself, in essence, a little needle so that I can string my beads easier. And I think if I remember correctly, I did 6 per side. But you can do how many ever you want. The more beads you put per side, the longer your little wooden beaded handle will be. We may do. I think we'll stay with 6. So then let's just add our needle to the other side. So I'm just kind of twisting at an angle. And then when I get just to the washi tape, I'm just twisting it in my hand or in my finger, and it makes kind of a pointy end. It makes it much easier to string beads. Three. Okay, so there's my 6. So I'm just going to take my strands together. I'm going to knot them. In the middle. And I'm just going to cut the excess. And then you can just let these kind of, start to unravel them, and then they can just kind of unravel themselves. You could also take the little pointy pokey tool, and that'll unravel them even more. Just to separate those strands. So you just twist it in the opposite direction that they're twisted, and then they'll start to unravel themselves. So there you go. There's our little beaded sign so far. It'd make an adorable little Christmas ornament as well. So like if you had a couple that you knew that were celebrating their first Christmas, you could get a little chalk marker or paint marker and put a little sentiment on the back, or put their names and the year on the back. Which is super cute. And we're done with the beads. So now I want to bring my little leaves back in the picture. I probably also want to plug in my hot glue gun, which I forgot to do. It's off to the side. Put my washi tape away. I'm trying to learn to put things away as I go. That way I don't have a big old mess at the end. I don't need that right now. I don't know where the plastic cover is, that one. Okay, anyway. So I'm just going to cut this. And I would normally use, I do have some smaller scissors. These still probably aren't, thanks Jason. These probably still aren't small enough for fussy cutting, but they will work better than those big scissors. So I'm going to fussy cut around this holly leaf. And I like to leave a little border just because that's easier for me to cut around things. I don't have to worry about staying on the line. So there's our first little holly leaf. And when you're fussy cutting, it's easier to move the paper around like this than it is to move your scissors back and forth like that. Oops. And I just follow the natural line of the design. Oops. So there's our second leaf. And then for the berries, I'm just going to cut around the outer edge. Leaving a little white border. Oops. Yep, I need some smaller scissors for this, but so there's our little berries. Okay, so now I also, I don't know if this Jingle Bell might be kind of big. Maybe not. So these are just little rusty white distressed Jingle Bells. Just gonna see what they. Let's maybe put this out to the side. That'll be cute. You can't see the holly berries very well, but maybe if we put it toward the bottom. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. So I think I have some small twine and I have some baker's twine here. So I think I'm going to put it through the cup hook. Maybe. Oh, goodness gracious. There. And I want to show you, I don't know if you can see it, but this is why I double up the strands, because there's a much cleaner edge here at the cup hook. If I had just used one strand, then I would have had to have knotted it, and then it would have been a lot more bulky at the cup hook. But right now I just have that little loop. Okay, so I think I want to make a small bow with the baker's twine. So I'm going to leave a tail here, and I'm going to make the left loop and the right loop. I don't know if you can see that. So I have a left loop and a right loop and my tail right here. I have another left loop, another right loop, then I have a left loop, a right loop, and then I'm going to cut this off, and now I have a bow. Sorry, my nose is stuffy and got the sniffles today. So I'm just going to clip this off so it can kind of hang out here while I make this baker's twine one. So again, leave my tail. So I want the left loop, and I'm just holding it at the middle, a right loop, a left loop, a right loop, left loop, right loop, and then my tail. So then I've got another, I don't know if you can see that, another bow. I'm going to clip both of those together. And I think I'm going to glue my bow, or tie my bow on first. So I'm just going to use this twine. Oops, forgot to tie that on. I got distracted. I'm just going to tie it once. And then I'm going to put my bow in there. And I'm going to tie that. So I'm going to put that in a knot. I think that's, I probably should have put my Jingle Bell in there before I tied it, but so now I'm going to thread my Jingle Bell on. I'm going to tie it in a knot. So then we've got our little bow with our Jingle Bell. I don't know if you can see it better this way. It's kind of hard to see. And so then I'm just going to add the holly leaves. Just going to put a little dab of glue. Sorry, I don't mean to sniffle, but I'm going to glue those together. Another little dab of glue on the back right there. Oops. And then I'm going to put a little dab of glue on the berries. Stick those down. And then I think kind of hide it under the Jingle Bell. So then I'm going to put some glue on the back. We'll just stick that up in there. And there we go. Let's see if I can move my... So there is our little ornament for a little tiered tray sign, complete with holly berries and holly leaves. And I can come, well, oops. You can, sometimes I like to knot these tails just so it looks a little more purposeful. And then the ends can unravel without the whole thing unraveling. Kind of made them a little short. So I'll come in and put little knots at the end. Okay, and I'm going to cut where the other one is, right there. Okay, there we go. There is our cute little sign. There you go. Well, thank you, Jason. I may have to glue that bell. I may have to glue the bell down. I think just going to add a little dollop of daisy right there. And I'm going to put the bell down. That way it hides the edges of my holly leaves that I put down. Okie doke. So I think we are done. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So I will be live again on Monday at 7:45 Central Time. It'll be Christmas crafting most of the week next week. I have some fun projects planned, but I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks for watching today, and I will see you again on Monday. Thank you much.